pool. We think we're so cool. We take it back to the past. We gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger. Make my Jaeger just.
Hello, and welcome to Sports Buzz, a Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable, Channel 23, downtown Danbury, Connecticut, on this October 10th, 10-10 wins.
Yes.
How about that? And as you see, I am joined right next to me this time, because it's a special episode, by my right-hand man, Mr. Bob Raw Jr.
Hi, Scott.
How's it going, Bob?
I'm doing well.
I haven't had you over here in a while.
I know.
We've had you sit next to me a few times in the past. We used to do more year in review shows.
This is true.
Christmas type shows.
Right.
But we always seem to get bumped on like the holidays. They're always like the studio's closed or it's Christmas Eve or something.
Right.
So we have not really done that many of those shows in recent years. So we haven't had you sit over here. But tonight it's episode
300.
Yeah,
yes.
300. Look at that. And that's how we feel about it. Go Sparta. We got to adopt Michigan State as our team for the year just because of 300. But so we thought we'd have Bob come over here, sit down, enjoy the fact that we got this nice cake.
Yes.
How about our director, Mr. David Suero?
Yes.
El Diablo.
Thank David for this very much.
He showed up injured and looking in pretty bad shape. And but he said he had to come down anyways to bring the cake, and he was going to direct, but lo and behold,
Our original director.
David was the original.
Okay.
Then Kevin Gallagher,
Right.
the former evil director, was the second. But Mike Toohey comes out of the darkness back into the light and just happened to show up today. He was on vacation. Mike's schedule keeps us away from all things Comcast these days. But he wanted to come down and just say hello, and it happened to be on the week of episode 300,
yes.
And it happened to be on the night where David really could use some relief. So he went home, left the cake, and Toohey is back directing. How about that?
I know. It's great.
It's almost like, cosmic. The people from above had it all figured out for us. So we thank him for being here. Jolene is now
my lovely wife.
not microphoned up, but she is sitting behind the cameras and giving
She's sitting behind home plate.
She's sitting in the hot seat. There is a microphone over there.
Nope.
She will refuse to put it on. But she is giving us the cues, the countdowns, and just making sure everything runs
And we
smoothly.
have our audio director.
Tyler's here. Tyler's excited as Yankees are sitting back. The only team that got to enjoy an easy breeze through that first round. Tyler's excited about that. His Saints won again this past weekend. Drew Brees, who?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
I know.
So who else do we got to thank? So really it was, we got this great shot at Bob.
My first baseball card.
Yeah, I saw you posted that this week, so I thought I'd put that in there. That's really cool. They got your stats on the back?
Yeah, kinda. I've never seen the back of the card.
Did you see the NBA is making it, they're trying to get it so that they properly list heights. For years in the NBA, it's always been, a guy would say 6'10", or if you wanted to say he was shorter, or if you wanted to say he was taller. Famously, Bill Walton always used to say he was 6'11".
Yes.
But if you look at the pictures, team pictures, when he played with the Celtics, he towers over Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale. And those guys were 6'11" and 7 feet. So Walton was easily 7'1". You?
Well, I'm 7'1".
7'1".
I mean, I've met Jabbar, I've met Chamberlain, and I had to look up.
Chamberlain was what?
He was 7'2", 7'3".
And Jabbar was a giant as well.
Yeah, he was just huge,
Wow. So they would have to put 7'1" on the back of your card there, Bob.
But I'll tell you what, I did meet one girl from the WNBA. She was 7'2".
Was that the player that...
She was playing for the Sun.
Oh, I don't remember the tallest... who was the girl from Baylor that was...
I think it was DeBordick, or her last name was, and she was playing at the Sun. We went up there for a game, and we just went down and we met her.
We're going to talk about the Sun. The Sun play Game 5 tonight. Maybe we'll just jump to that real quick since you got that on our mind.
Yeah.
If you want to look ahead to those pictures there, Mike. But the Sun at the Mystics tonight. So after this evening, one of these two teams will bring home their first ever championship. First-time winner.
I hope it's
Game
Connecticut.
5. Well, Connecticut did a great job, 90-86, to force this Game 5 after that disappointing 94-81 Game 3 loss up at Mohegan Sun this past weekend, where they really didn't look good at all in that game. But they gutted it out. They had, I think, a 16-point lead in this game, but the Mystic actually took the lead in the fourth quarter, rallied. But the Sun did not go away and held the Mystics scoreless over the last 2.5 minutes and won it 90-86 to force the winner-take-all Game 5 down in D.C. Not too much else going on in the nation's capital these days.
No, but the thing is, though, neither one of the teams have anybody from UConn.
I know. I'm really surprised. Of course, we talked about Elena Deladon. You know, she's got the face mask, the knee brace. She's playing through the herniated disc in her back. The league MVP really doing a great job for her team. So, and the other interesting thing about this, the Mystic coach, Mike Thibault, was the former coach of the Connecticut Sun. He coached with the Sun for 10 years.
That's correct.
And they fired him in 2012, so they would like to get a little revenge for him. He has the most wins in WNBA history, 212.
That's
so
true.
that'd be a crowning achievement for him to get the championship as well. But we'll be pulling for the Sun.
Of course.
To see if they can bring home a championship to the Nutmeg State. We'll see how that goes. But back to just, episode 300. It's been a while, Bob.
Yes.
2009? Is it also 10 years for us?
It's over 10 years.
I feel like it was fall of 2009 because my first episode was I did a special where we aired the Bethel High School football team.
That's right.
Playing against New London, upsetting them in that great semifinal of the state tournament. I know, so it had to be in the fall, end of the year, because it was after the season was over, and we aired it like leading into the new year. So it might have been like 2010 that we did our first live shows. You got on board with the show pretty much within the first 10 episodes, right?
Well, you also had, who was your co-host before?
Mazzarisi.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was saying that it was El Diablo, DJ Malo, a.k.a. Darkness, David Suero, who got me involved in all this nonsense. Kevin Gallagher had me on as a guest for his show. We were talking independent films, a film that I made years ago when I lived in Atlanta.
Right.
And then from there, I did a couple projects with David and Kevin, but then he got me on USA TV Talk Sports.
Right.
And Mazzarisi was doing shows there with DJ Macalicious, formerly of WXCI fame. And I did shows with those guys, mostly with Mazzarisi. Mac was on sometimes. But we had issues there with the former producer of that show, Al Brun. And we branched off and did our own short-lived sports bar show, Mazzarisi and I. But he was moving, and things wasn't going to work out. But he did do the first couple of episodes of me with this show, Sports Buzz, the Fan-atical View, which came from the column I used to write for the defunct Hat City Entertainment, which was a monthly newspaper.
Right.
And I had a column in that called Sports Buzz, the Fan-atical View. So when it came time for it to become just my show, I said, let's just name it after the column.
Right.
It's a great name, right? Mm-hmm. We like it. So we did, and you got involved right away. And early on, we just established that, we did the thing where we tried to do it as a simulcast radio show. You know, radio shows became very popular to be aired. They would put the cameras in the studios, and they would talk to the crew members, the hosts would.
We did.
Have conversations with the producers or the cameramen. So we had that in mind when we had you mic'd up behind the cameras. Now with the way the cameras are, it's not as important for you to be sitting behind the cameras anymore. So you still give me the countdowns and the cues, and you get the headset with the from the director. So it is it still works with you being over on that side.
Oh, do we
But
want
that
to
was
mention
the,
about the, we're doing a little bit of a change come next?
Yeah, we should make that announcement too. So we're not even sure if we'll be here next week.
Right.
Might be a week or two off, we're not sure. But as it turned out, episode 300 also is the last episode that I will be producing. And thankfully, we will be able to continue the show kind of without much of a hitch.
No.
It'll stay basically as is. But because of different reasons, I won't be able to produce anymore, but I'll be able to certainly
Still be the host.
host and take a regular part in the show.
Right.
And Bob will be the new producer of the show. Bob's first order of business,
Yeah.
flexing his muscles, is doing what, Bob?
I'm just moving it back a half hour.
Changing the time of the show. Wow, I mean, I thought it would be seamless. I didn't know Bob was going to do a power move as soon as he signed the
No,
contract.
I just thought it would be better to move it back to 7 o'clock. It's just a little more.
So new time, same channel, same night, 7 o'clock to 7:30 on right here on channel 23.
We're going to have anybody. Will we get any call in from Strange Man tonight or no?
Strange Man always keeps track of what episode number the show is.
Mm-hmm.
Like randomly, he'll send me texts, are you ready for show 259? You ready for show 222? Whatever.
Right.
So a little surprised that I did not hear from him this week saying, big show this week, 300. But I did not hear from him. Maybe, it's sunk in that the Red Sox will no longer be champions in a few more weeks.
Right.
And
But he's got something to root for tonight since the Patriots are going to be playing my Giants.
Yeah, so Patriots at Giants tonight. But just overall, we just want to thank everybody who's been involved with the show. It's great that Tui made it back tonight because he was director for a long period of time with us. And his show, I worked on for a while. I'm not sure if he's bringing that back anytime soon, but his show, Expose Cinema, is a great part of the station as well. So good he's back. Kevin, of course, Gallagher.
Right.
And David and Tyler's been doing a great job. And Mike McFadden, who's not here tonight, the Met Maniac, little trouble. Maybe 7 o'clock will help him.
And my two children.
Jenna and Connor, of course. And there we see the Mike McFadden. Jenna and Connor, of course, who've done a lot of work, and Tyler as well for the show. And now we get Jolene sitting over there. On her phone.
My wife,
trying not to
wife
listen to anything.
has, I need to thank her for a lot of things. One thing is when I'm doing my color guard, she takes over at the back of the camera.
Oh, yeah. So speaking of camera work, this weekend,
yes,
Snyra on Sunday.
Yes.
I think the weather's shaping up to be back to being pretty good.
Oh, it's going to be a beautiful weekend.
I didn't say anything about the weather today. Usually I start by talking about the weather. How bad are the weathermen?
They start out in the middle of the week.
Real?
In the middle of the week, they started out, it says bad weather all weekend, blah, blah, blah. And then now it's gorgeous.
It was gorgeous today.
Yeah.
It was supposed to rain.
Had thunderstorms, severe weather.
There's like a nor'easter supposed to be out there, and meanwhile it was nice out.
Right.
And I don't know what it's going to do tonight. It didn't really seem like it was raining.
No.
As we were coming in.
Well, the wind was picking up. That was about the only thing out there.
But anyway, Snyra this weekend, Sunday, over at the Vespucci Lodge. And fire prevention on Saturday
at the Mill Plain Firehouse.
Right on Mill Plain Road.
From 1 to 4.
1 to 4, annual fire prevention, open house Saturday, special events.
We have fire truck rides for the kids.
Yeah.
You also will be getting free fire hats. You also
Sparky
get
the fire dog is there?
Yep, you can come meet Sparky. You can help to put out a fire.
Earn your junior firefighting badge.
Yes.
And get free smoke and CO
detectors from Danbury Elks.
What are you saying over there, Jolene?
Talking to Mike.
All right. Sponsored by Danbury Elks Lodge, number 120.
And Home Depot's we got kits from Home Depot from last week.
All right, cool. So that's this weekend.
Yes, come on
Dave
by.
King, we should mention also thank you to Dave and Candy for running this fine station and helping out as much as they do. And Dave will be playing
live.
Are you going to do a duet with him, Bob?
I might not.
Depends
on how much is going on for that day.
Depends on how many beers you have.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're going to have alcohol there.
Yes. That's why we like the fact that it moved back to the Vespucci Lodge,
Yes.
food and alcohol.
And actually, what is this week?
Columbus Day.
I know
weekend.
Columbus weekend, but think real hard. What would this be? This would be Fair Week.
Oh, that's right.
Because what will tomorrow be? Danbury Day.
Danbury Day?
Yes.
Did they do a Danbury Day even
yeah.
without the fair?
Well, no. They would. They had. Well, when the fair was on, every school kid would get a free ticket to go to the fair
Yeah.
and get the day off.
Those were good times. I remember that fair.
But then in '81 it went away
And now we got that great mall,
mall. Yeah.
which different
was
stores
built in
go out of
86.
business every week.
Yeah. More and more stores leave.
86, I remember I was in high school. The video arcade was great. There was a great video game in there that I can never remember. I never saw it anywhere else. It was like a 4-person game.
Really?
You get 4 guys on it at once. Yeah, that was good stuff. Giants, Patriots tonight. We should get to some of the sports because a lot has happened
Right.
and there's a lot to come. Giants, Patriots tonight.
We will have the battle.
David versus Goliath, as
Yes.
the papers calling it.
Yes.
Patriots 5-0. The 49ers beat the Browns on Monday night, so they remain the only 2 undefeated teams as the Chiefs lost. But Patriots, they've beaten the Jets, the Redskins, who they took care of this weekend,
Right.
and the Dolphins, as well as the Steelers and the Bills. The Jets, Dolphins, and Redskins all winless.
Right.
Hard to get a gauge on this Patriots team and if they're any actually good. I mean, the defense looks tremendous, but they're playing some terrible teams.
Right.
The Bills, as good as they are, don't light the world on fire offensively. So,
Could this be like a revenge from the Super Bowl from a few years ago?
well, if we were going to do a thing where we talked about highlights and lowlights, a highlight for you in this time of doing the show would have been that night,
Yes.
Rob. Didn't I have to wear a Giants jersey
Yes.
the next week?
Yeah. And I wore a Patriots one for prior to the last one when
Did you wear one?
Yes.
No, we never had you wearing a Patriots jersey. You only made me wear the Giants jersey because you beat us. But
10 minutes.
10 minutes, all right. So Giants, Patriots tonight.
Yeah,
The Giants lost to the Vikings 28-10.
Yeah.
And there we also see the Redskins coach. The Redskins are in disarray.
Oh,
They fired Gruden there. He'll probably end up out with his brother in Oakland. Surprising team, Oakland, as a matter of fact.
Right.
3-2 as they had the big lead early. They blew the lead, but then they 97-yard drive to beat that vaunted
Yes.
Bears defense in London this past weekend. But so we saw your guy Danny Dimes. You know, that game against the Bucs was great. Let's not forget the Bucs missed 2 extra points and the game-winning field goal.
This is true.
Should have lost that game. But then they beat up on the Redskins, who were terrible. But he didn't look great in that game. He threw 2 interceptions, right?
I know, he did.
And then they face a Vikings team that wins against sub-500 teams, loses against above 500 teams. But they do have a good defense, and they really played well in the Meadowlands this weekend.
They did. I have to agree with that.
And you still got a lot of injuries. Saquon Barkley's still out.
Right.
So, you know, and the game is in New England tonight. It's a Thursday night game, short week. It'll be a tough spot for the Giants, especially with the way the Patriots defense has been playing. So even if the Patriots offense is not sharp, which they haven't really been, and they have some injuries as well on the offensive line.
Plus, it's going to be a cold night.
Well, I wonder what the
especially
weather up there might be what we were supposed to be getting.
Right.
That's a good point. So we'll see. Back to the Redskins for a second. There's an interesting game going on this weekend. Rams versus 49ers.
Yes.
2 young, up-and-coming coaches who both are now showing off and both have had some success already. Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. Where did both of those guys coach as assistants and offensive coordinators?
Not sure.
DC, down
Really?
with the Redskins.
Oh.
You think that the Redskins, after they just fired their coach, wouldn't mind having one of those guys back in the building?
I would imagine so.
But they let both those guys walk to keep their guy, who stinks, and their team is terrible, and they can't even sell tickets.
Yeah.
So that's bad. All right, other action tonight, Bob. if you're not into the football or if the game goes badly for either one of us.
Right.
Game 5, Rays at Astros.
Which should be very interesting.
Garrett Cole versus Tyler Glasgow. Speaking of teams wishing they might have some guys back, because we also know that Charlie Morton plays for the Rays.
Yes, he does.
Garrett Cole and Tyler Glasgow, former Pirates. Charlie Morton, former Pirate.
Yes.
How about that for a pitching staff that the Pirates could have had?
And he's from right next door.
Joe Barlow. Joe Barlow's own Charlie Morton, who got this series back on track for the Rays after they lost the first 2 games. Here's the thing, Bob. Why are these managers pushing the panic button with a 2-1 series lead?
I really don't know.
The Astros have a great team.
Right.
They've won a World Series. They didn't get back last year. Won over 100 games. They were up 2-1 in the series.
Right.
So Greinke, fell apart in Game 3. Morton stifled them because he's a great pitcher, and they lost that game. Why push the panic button and run Verlander out there for the first time ever on 3 days rest?
Because they get very. They're trying to beat the everybody else from
I think it's a terrible move.
But then if he runs out of gas, then what?
I mean, he gives up 3 runs in the first. Here's the other thing about that game. They lose Game 4. Verlander was not good. They only end up losing 4-1.
Right.
How about the Astros bats saying, all right, so Verlander, he's going to battle for us. He's trying to get us a win here. Why do they have to go ice cold after he gives up 3 runs in the first?
I know he just went that way.
Tampa has actually a great pitching staff.
They do.
Too bad the Yankees didn't have to face anybody who had a pitching staff. But all these other teams have had to go the distance, while the Yankees were able to sweep away the Twinkies.
Yeah,
who are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Twinkies won over 100 games, Bob. Who was their Game 2 starter? A kid who started the season in single A ball.
And made it all the way up to...
He was an Uber driver.
Yeah.
He didn't come up to the big leagues until late August.
I know.
He's your Game 2 starter at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The Twinkies have now lost 16 straight games against the Yankees in the postseason. 5-6 series in a row since 2003. No resistance whatsoever.
No.
They were a joke. They get the bases loaded in
Right.
the second inning against Severino with nobody out. They get no runs against a guy who's pitched 3 games this year. Terrible. But the Rays better get it done tonight. Cole has been tremendous all year against the Astros, or that'll be a real, disgrace for them after blowing it, especially when you got Verlander, Cole, and Greinke. The Yankees got to be feeling good about themselves one way or the other with that. But how about in the National League? The Nationals last night down 3-1, 2 pitches from Kershaw in the 8th inning, 2 home runs. It's now 3-3. They head to extra innings. My boy, Joe Kelly, former Red Sox, Dave Roberts left him in for a second inning of relief. He gives up the grand slam. Game over. Nationals come back and stun the Dodgers 7-3. But we talked about it here for the last few weeks. But I said it was going to be tough for the Dodgers to go back to a 3rd straight World Series.
Right.
The Nationals are a game bunch. They got great starting pitching. Their bullpen is terrible, but they haven't really been forced to use it. They've been mixing, matching starters in the bullpen and starters, and they get it done. And then the other Game 5 that took place yesterday,
Cardinals and the Braves.
At Atlanta.
What happened with that? I mean, the first inning, 10 runs.
Most ever runs ever scored in the first inning of a playoff game. The St. Louis Cardinals destroy the Braves 13-1. How about being a fan in this game, Bob? Sitting there in the first inning, and all of a sudden it's 10-0, and you realize you're going to have to sit there for 3 hours
and wait for the rest of it to go through.
And how about that? Speaking of that grand slam in LA, I think there was literally fans walking out of the building while the ball was in the air.
I imagine they were.
Before he rounded the bases, they were emptying the seats in LA.
Really? I know.
They really were. Unbelievable. So Friday and Saturday, it's St. Louis, even though they're the wild card, or they're the division winner with a worse record than the Nationals, but the Nationals are a wild card team, so St. Louis gets the home field advantage Friday and Saturday there. Yankees, of course, we said
The Yankees are waiting and to see what happens.
You got to figure they feel they have an advantage because they're not going to have to face Verlander in Game 1 no matter what, even if or Cole. Greinke probably would get Game 1 if the Astros come back and hold on to win it. But I don't know. Tampa's got great pitching. It's going to be tough.
But Tampa and the Yankees have had some interesting
the Yankees
blood over the
played
years
pretty
too.
well against the Rays this year, but it's a rivalry. It could be interesting. So big surprises this weekend in the NFL was the Colts being shocking the Chiefs. So no more undefeated for the Chiefs. Raiders beating the Bears. That was big. Packers pummeling the boys, but all right.
We got how much?
What do we got over there? She's giving us an upside down 10. That can't be right.
Ask Mike what we got left.
Packers, now she's ignoring us. Packers pummeling the boys. So the boys, another one of these teams that beat up on bad teams, but now back-to-back weeks against good teams. All right, they lose. Seahawks beating the Rams on that late field goal, and the Rams missing the field goal. Bills bouncing back from that tough loss, and I was surprised their quarterback made it back after that big hit he took against the Patriots, but he did play.
1 minute?
Yep, inside a minute. And while there was a battle between the Cardinals, who were winless, and the Bengals, who were winless, and the Cardinals won, there's also a battle of winless teams this weekend as the Skins and Dolphins play. Somebody's going to have to win that game. Vikings at Eagles, Houston at Kansas City, San Francisco at the Rams, Detroit at Green Bay. Some big games this weekend. NHL.
Bye-bye.
Your team is undefeated 2-0 out of the gate. My Bruins, first time 3-0 in 18 years.
Yeah.
And all games out west, and they're still out west for a fourth game in Colorado. So hockey is underway, but that's it. But basically, the show was about 300. We made it to 300. We'll be back one of these weeks pretty soon, I think, at 7 o'clock. So stay tuned. Keep tuning in. We're happy that we've had at least 3 fans over the years,
Yes,
right?
or more.
4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
All right, we are out of here. That's it. Thank you.
Have a good weekend, guys.
We're going to enjoy the cake.
She's that dream of my desire. She's the one fueling the fire. I see her standing there wanting lust fills the air. I feel hesitant but wedging just ain't part of my master plan. Do you feel